Welcome to a special Strange Days news episode. My name is Buck Tuckford, and I'm here in the Soulless Newsroom to help Soulless bring you some news stories. As he usually recounts stories from the past, we thought it would be interesting to do some breaking news bulletins on unexplained reports, hot off the presses. And first, a story out of Portland. There's a new threat to our children out there, and it's hiding in the form of an innocent-looking video game. As arcades and retro-style games are regaining popularity in the U.S., it's not surprising to hear there's a new 8-bit arcade machine popping up around Portland. It fits right in next to the Simpsons arcade game, with its green, bulbous, Polybius logo flashing brightly. Right below its logo in blue, but much smaller, copyright 1981, Sinislotion. Below that in red, credits 0. But here's where it gets weird, folks. Anyone bold enough to deposit a quarter for credits loses their memory, or worse, their mind. Arcade owners claim not to know how the machines got into their establishments. They seem to just appear overnight. Nor did they know who the mysterious sharp-dressed gentlemen worked for, the ones who came to service the machines. They only ever seem to collect data, never any money. No information can be found on the company Sinislotion, but the game does look eerily ripped right out of 1981. But here's what we do know. Polybius is a puzzle game, a very cryptic one. It declares cognitive interface operational as you begin. Warnings flash on the screen pertaining to motion sickness, seizures, cardiac arrhythmia, and psychoactive drugs. The only official statement come from someone who supposedly worked on the game. A one Mr. Stephen Roach. Currently employed by Rogue Synapse, he claims to have helped with the programming. But all he's allowed to say, thanks to an NDA, is that it's an innocent, stylized puzzle game. And it's very fun. It has been reported the game was developed by the U.S. military, perhaps a division of the CIA. Its goal being behavioral modification. It seems most likely to induce amnesia. Some victims have been impossible to interview. Some unable to even communicate. Young people's lives have been getting ruined in these arcades. You heard it here first, folks. Keep your children out of the arcades if you live in Portland. Tell them even if all their friends are trying it, just say no to Polybius. We have an important bulletin from the Tampa Bay Times. Ricky thought he could get away from the weirdness for a week. Bringing his fiancée and daughter to Florida for vacation was a dream he had held on to all through lockdown. After a cold winter in Canada, they were looking forward to relaxing on the beach. Their stay in Clearwater was going swimmingly until they encountered something surreal and terrifying. One witness, Ricky, was quoted as saying, "Lucy and I were just minding our own business, doing stuff, you know. The beach was empty. It was quiet. Then I heard some loud splashing, and I saw this penguin thing walking out of the water towards us. I got really freaked out, and I started yelling at it because I didn't have my gun. And I turned, and I walked down towards the beach. It was the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life." Initially thought to be an extinct species of lizard, reinvigorated during the pandemic like whale populations as people spent more time indoors. Now, scientists aren't so sure. Giant tracks have been reported for the past year between Sarasota and Clearwater. Sightings of a giant, bird-like creature are becoming more and more common. One man believes he knows why. Famed biologist Ivan Terrence Sanderson has been in the area recently to study the footprints. They refer to it as Old Three Toes, as the footprints have 3 toes, tipped with long claws. The prints are enormous, about 14 inches long and 11 inches wide. The creatures appear out of the Gulf of Mexico They walk 2 miles along the beach and then disappear back into the water. Its strides look to be about 4 to 6 feet long. Dr. Sanderson, after extensive research, concluded the prints were too deeply imprinted to have been made by man or machine. This has to be something new, a creature we have yet to study. I.T. Sanderson spent weeks trying to observe the new creature in its environment. It has to be coming ashore for a reason, he assumes. So, living the hard life of a researcher, he spent day and night on the Florida beach until he got what he came for, a visual sighting of whatever was making the 3-toed tracks. He described it as being 12 feet long, grayish yellow, and having large arms that resembled flippers. It made big waves when swimming, as if it had a powerful kick. His final conclusion? A giant penguin. Sanderson is not able to provide any photo or video evidence, unfortunately, so all we have is his word and reputation. But his findings, combined with the amount of reports and footprints, are enough to keep me off the beaches of Clearwater at night. And at least until we know more about this new species swimming around the Gulf.
Hello, I'm David McAllister, your local newscaster, recording live from somewhere with half my brain tied behind my back to make it a fair fight. On primetime tonight, Ted Cruz and I will debate a 15-year-old climate activist. The Marxists are encouraging brats like this, and it's up to us to knock the silly socialists back down a peg. Up first, some current events. More faithless science. But on a lighter note, we turn now to a story from Dr. Patrick Moore via AP News. We are all familiar with disruptions celestial objects can cause us here on Earth, such as Mercury when it's in retrograde. Well, on April 2nd, we're going to notice a very large disruption in the Earth's gravity at 9:47 a.m. And just like when it happened last in 1976, you'll have a few seconds to play with physics, as Pluto passes by the gas giant Jupiter, causing Earth's gravity to weaken. A well-timed jump can leave you feeling like you're moonwalking, or even floating. Try it for yourself, Friday, April 2nd, 2021, at 9:47 a.m. Jump in the air, and see if you stay there. I would advise only doing this indoors, somewhere with a roof over your head. Then hop on Twitter, join the discussion, and let us know how long you floated with the hashtag #FloatAcrossTheWorld. Or if you believe, like me, that this is a globalist satanic hoax, say a little prayer beforehand and join the good fight with the hashtag #PrayTheAnti-Gravity Away. Thanks for joining us today for Strange Days News. Broadcast excellence at its finest, and your trusted source for news since everything else became fake news. We have entered